Uganda's Before Network.
The concept of souvenir art in Uganda is still a relatively new idea that so many people don't yet know about. However, one young man, progressive and contemporary artist Roland Tibirusya, has broken the ice and come up with a concept that is, taking some Ugandan organizations by storm. Join me at this point, Nathan Kiwere, as I take you through the works of Roland Tibirusya at his studio called the Ama Arts Studio, or sometimes he prefers to call it mini gallery, right here in Mitchell Hall at Makerere University. And he's going to show us what the idea of souvenir art means. And I trust you're going to learn a thing or two about this progressive young man. Yeah, so who is Roland Tibirusya?
Yeah, Roland is a painter, an expressive life painter, a souvenir artist. Full names, I'm Tibirusya Roldan. Ama Arts Uganda. I'm the gentleman leading the team of Ama Arts Uganda. Yeah.
So, you mentioned souvenir art. Can you tell us what is this thing called souvenir art anyway?
A souvenir art piece is, basically I use paintings. These are paintings done on a function. This is a piece of art that that summarizes the memories that captured on that event, and it's basically a piece of art that is done live on that event, and people could maybe contribute to it or sign on it, which makes it a souvenir piece of art. Yeah.
Most people understand the souvenir as a gift, something you can buy and donate to somebody as a token of appreciation or something.
Yeah.
How do you refer to this kind of art as a souvenir? Yeah.
To me, as the concept, rhymes. Yeah. The souvenir piece, I've been doing it for charity, basic for charity, where I paint a piece of art and want to give a gift to the unprivileged groups. So that's where I say it's a souvenir. When together we come together and share the canvas, the art canvas, and paint, then offering hope to the unprivileged groups. Yeah.
And you mentioned live expressive artist. Can you explain that concept as well?
Yeah, live is where I get an art canvas with my paint as the session is going on during, if an event is on, and of course it's arrangement of the organizers and having a program, which is basic. That piece of art is for auction, but I get this canvas and station it aside when the function is going on. If it's a dinner or a concert, then paint live when depicting the essence of what is going on that same function. So it's basic that I paint images, jokes, capturing the emotion of that function.
And why did you choose this form of art? Is there a course where you studied that teaches, souvenir art, live expression? What inspired you to toe that line?
Yeah, basically I'm trained from the School of Art, Makerere University, but it was not a training from School of Art, but it's a creative of expression. I majored in portraiture, so it's a creative of expression where I could reach out to people and tell even others that you can do it live and bring it live. If just not to work in the studios, but you can even put it out there in the public and paint live and have that moment. It's a the creative way of expression. It's not about training. Being a pioneer it in this way. I find it so capturing that event. Yeah.
And what is unique about this art form? What makes it so different from those who paint in their studios and they go and exhibit works in the galleries?
What makes it unique? I can paint a piece of art in 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's done. Everyone is appreciating. And at the end of the day, I know capturing those minutes and you come up with a piece of art. People say, always studio artists are the ones who get in the studio and have moments of painting and go more into details. But mine is captured in usually the term I usually use the speed of a surgeon, because I have to have to seize that moment and paint a piece in that very minutes, not to wait to take the studio. No, I just do it there and there, and people see what is shared on that particular, depicting the theme.
What's the biggest challenge you found with working in this art form, this souvenir art form? What's been the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is the identity way back when I began doing the art. People used to didn't understand, especially in the Ugandan community. They say, we see the colors, but we don't get, this, image or whatever in this painting. But as the beginning, like you said, the challenge that came along, they would not understand the work, and sometimes they could not value it. Not until they see it was selling millions and millions of money, they say that art has a message. But that is the picture that is on my heart that I have to express to the people. But only that, when you said a challenge, people's perception about the work was different when I began. But of late, they understood it, so I don't see challenges. People are coming and working together towards, so much that's even coming forth.
Yeah, and you're going to be showing us around some of the works that you in your studio.
Yeah.
But before then, I know that there are other works that you've done before, which are not in the studio, which have been taken.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about some of those works and how much you've been able to raise through those projects you've done in the past?
Yeah, I've done more projects, like around 12 major ones I could mention, and
just a few.
A few. One was the Kirk Franklin concert that was all over Kampala. Everyone who participated in saw the painting that was sold for charity. That sold like $15,000, and
which is about 30 million shillings.
Yeah, around 30 there. It raised 32 million. So then there is this that project was that same. It was taken, it's exhibited at Rwenzori Courts. Then there is this other good work. There is the Soweto String Quartet. When they came here in Kampala to raise money for the Art Institute, it raised still 32 million. The first one sold 17, the second one sold 15. Then there is this other recent one that last weekend, which we were doing at Serena, raising money for the cancer patients, to raise for the cancer. The National Breast Cancer Care Fund. So it raised around, with the two portraits of auction, it raised around 25 million. So I did it live, and I even got an opportunity for the president to sign on to add value to it. So
actually, two presidents signed.
Yeah, the two presidents, His Excellency, the President of Uganda, and the President of Burundi, Nkurunziza. So those are some of the works I could mention briefly that I did, and there's so many projects I've been working on, especially on those live events, souvenirs, especially in those charitable based organizations, where I partner with them and do much of charity. Yeah.
Well, in total, about how much money have you been able to raise over time?
I did it like for 1.5 years. 1.5 years I've been in doing this project. I've raised around 130 million different causes using this souvenir paintings. Yeah.
And you're just beginning.
Yeah, it's the beginning. So hopefully I see the future.
So you have a big future.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, for those that have just joined us, you're watching Art and Cultures of Uganda on UBC, Uganda's preferred network. I am Nathan Kiwere, your host. And tonight we're featuring Roland Tibirusya, the only souvenir artist in Uganda. and he is showing us what he's been able to use his talent for in terms of raising funds for charity. He has raised 130 million plus in the past 1.5 years only, and he says this is just the beginning. So we can see that art is beginning to yield fruits, real tangible fruits, and I think this young man has a great vision for this country. So we shall continue on this show as to look at the specific works, some of the works that he's been able to retain in his studio, but he said that most of the works actually have been handed over to the causes, the charities that he's been raising money for. So enjoy. So Roland, tell us, what are we looking at here? Which work is this? What was the event? What happened?
Wow, this is a souvenir piece on the raising money for the deaf school at Serena. So what happened, of course, it was this event that was on for raising money for the deaf, to build a vocational school for the deaf school. It was organized by the school itself. So I was invited as a guest artist to do a piece of art that could be auctioned. And what you're seeing here, this is an image I captured in those minutes I got. I happened to to have painted depicting the expression here using color of yellow is expression of giving hope to the unprivileged groups. Then when you see the guitar, well, you are creating awareness. So the musicians and the artists had emerged to offer hope using the music and the talent. It was a fusion of the music and the art. So there were photography exhibitions and all that. But here it's an ear. So you're having voices for having a voice for the silent people, the deaf. So that's how I just described this with a stroke of a brush and came up with this piece.
But the piece is largely abstract. An ordinary person will hardly understand what this is about. So how do you handle that? How do you deal with that?
Usually I get a moment of explaining my work, especially to the people who really want to take it. So like now I was talking about the deaf school that began 1958, but it's an expression that was done with a paintbrush. Then the colors, when you see here, the statement that says love is greater than power, which is an expression that says, an ordinary mind can read this and try to have a mind of, interacting with a piece of art. There's that freedom of interacting with a piece of art, looking at the colors, and then you get to learn something out of it.
And why do you choose the very bright, colors, yellow, orange, and?
I usually, like I told you, I've been mentioning of an inspiration from the flag of Uganda. I usually mix the three colors of the national flag and want to come up with these images. So it's more of depicting something that's to do with the yellow, which is symbolic of hope, and the red, the passion I have for this, for the love I mentioned, I confess out. And then the black, you see they usually sign the signatures of the people who add the value to the piece of art. They are signed in black. So which means black brings in the beauty, but they contribute, like these signatures are several people who participated in it, adding value, especially the guest of honor who was there, was part of it, and the delegation of the people who were the guests on that same function. So later on after that, that's why I told you, it's offering hope, like this piece raised 4 million. So it was, yet to be delivered, but that's how it worked out.